Husband refuses to care for our newborn while I'm waitressing for survival. His neglect is pushing me toward divorce and seeking shelter. I'm 23F, my husband is 28 meters. We've been married for 4 years, together for 5. We met when I was 17 but didn't officially start dating until I was 18. My husband has done a lot for me, paid for entire semesters of college when my parents refused to complete a FAFSA, encouraged me to take out loans when we couldn't afford to pay for my tuition entirely, moved me away from abusive/toxic family members, but I'm really struggling with this. I had a baby 9 weeks ago. It was a rough birth. I was laid off from a really awesome job working in an office as a customer service rep due to budget cuts while pregnant. My husband swore he'd take care of us, we'd be able to survive off one income, etc. all that bullshit. I went through what little savings I had with a quickness because even though he talked a big game of taking care of us all, he still insisted I pay my share of the bills. I'm still in unemployment appeal hell. I was applying to jobs left and right up until I was 38 weeks pregnant and realized no one was gonna hire me so close to giving birth. I have a bachelor's degree and literally ended up getting a waitressing job at fucking Cracker Barrel just so I can have income coming in. My husband works a federal government job, and has 12 weeks of paid parental leave. He promised he'd watch over our girl while I work to save money on daycare. I've been at this waitressing job for a little over a week. It's tough, going from an office setting to being on my feet all day. I'm in a lot of pain, but having some job is better than no job, so I just deal. The quality of care that my husband has been giving our daughter is getting worse, and worse. I come home to her not being changed, not being fed, or her blowouts are so bad she has shit up her back. I've tried talking nicely, I've tried being reasonable, I even suspected he had male postpartum depression or some shit, and he told me he just couldn't connect with her and all she does is cry and it's grating on his nerves. Today was the worst one yet. I came home to my daughter still in her crib, still in the pajamas she was in the night before. After I laid out clothes for her, she was red in the face from crying so much. I started to warm up a bottle and asked my husband when did he last feed her. His answer was I haven't given her a bottle today. She cries every time I try to hold her. I just lost my shit on him. All hell flew through me and I couldn't contain my anger. I called him a piece of shit, neglectful father, and asked why the fuck did he knock me up / refuse / make me feel bad for using condoms if he wasn't going to take care of the child he helped create. I'm working 8-hour waitressing shifts, making $3 an hour plus tips, still bleeding, feet constantly hurt, trying to dry up this breast milk, all while putting on a fake ass smile and trying my damnedest to make money and tips to have enough to bring home and pay my share of the bills every 2 weeks. I ended up locking baby and myself in the bedroom and told him to just fuck off and leave us alone. Managed to calm my daughter down with a bottle, a bath, and now she's napping, but I'm still so fucking angry. My husband told his mom I guess and tattled on me. My mill decided to message me and give me a hard time because he doesn't know what he's doing. This is his first time being a parent, and yeah, I pushed a 7-pound watermelon out of my vag and I'm still not neglecting my baby. I'm so angry and tired of this. Our daughter deserves better. Hell, I deserve better. I sent him a text that he either needs to shape up or ship the fuck out, and his response was, "Where are you going to go?" And now I'm just beyond angry and frustrated with him and his level of care for the child he helped make. I'm even more angry that he ran to his mom, who can say something shitty to me but and come over and help her son if he's feeling overwhelmed. My head is spinning and I just need someone to set me straight. I keep wavering back and forth on if I am the asshole or not over this. I just want my daughter to have a competent father and not a neglectful one. If I could up and leave him to make him face reality, I would, just to show him I'm not fucking around. Edit, for you guys saying leave now. I have $6 to my name. If I could leave, I would. I'm going to social services on Monday. The domestic violence hotline was able to connect me to one shelter and they're trying to find placement for us for the weekend. Stop messaging me that I should have aborted my baby or given her up for adoption. If I had known my husband would be so fucking awful at taking care of her, I would have never had her at all. Can't exactly turn back that clock. Some of you guys need a lesson in empathy. I do not want this to continue. Edit 2, shelter won't have space for us until Monday. Literally asking old coworkers and the 3 friends I have left if they can loan me money to get a hotel room for the weekend. I have a to-do list for Monday, with social services and calling lawyers and seeing whatever the hell else can be done next week. This sucks. I feel horrible for my daughter and keep going from crying to being angry and full of rage again. My daughter deserves better and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure this never happens again to either of us. Thank God I have an IUD and he can't knock me up again. I feel both hopeless and just wanting to escape again. Here's hoping I have some success and can update y'all on Monday over everything. Edit 3, to clarify, I am not having sex with my husband. I got the IUD to have more permanent birth control since he was pressuring me to have sex before I was ready / even before the 6-week mark. I do not want to end up with another kid / Irish twins because of his refusal to wear condoms. I am going to call lawyer S on Monday to talk about divorce. I don't want to be with him any longer and I want better for myself and my daughter. People are asking if I have GoFundMe. I don't, but I have Cash App and Zelle. I didn't expect this post to blow up with over 500 messages in my inbox, but you guys, I'm trying. I am doing my best to get away from him and keep him out of our lives for good. Oop, I don't even think it's depression. He just doesn't fucking care and thinks he is getting 12 weeks of paid leave to fuck around and fuck off. I have $6 to my name. I have to rebuild my savings somehow to get the hell away from him. I don't have family I can trust, unless I want my newborn to end up drinking Mountain Dew at 12 weeks old and being neglected/abused like I was a kid. I have scars from my mom putting cigarettes out on me to teach me a lesson, but I'm going to see if this qualifies us for a women's shelter or something. Neglecting an infant isn't okay at all, and I've had as much as I can take neglect. He starved the baby. She may have brain damage from dehydration. Take her to the ER for 4 fluids and to document the abuse. Update 1. Hi guys, I'm back with a small update. First things first, I ended up taking baby girl to the hospital last night. After my soon-to-be ex-husband left to go drink or do whatever, I waited until he was gone, and packed a small bag with all of our important information and went to the emergency room since my daughter's pediatrician is closed until Monday. She was looked over and they kept her overnight for observation after I told them everything. She had a rash, they tested for a UTI, and I expressed my concerns over her having shaken baby syndrome, which wasn't something that even crossed my mind until a lot of people mentioned it in my first comments. The emergency room doctor said she was alert and bright, and very unhappy with the 4th. She cried so hard when they stuck her with the needle, so they wanted to observe her first before putting her through a CT scan. She was dehydrated, so she had to have an 4 put in. I think I got maybe 4 hours of sleep throughout the whole ordeal. She is such a happy, smiley, drooly little baby, and my fucking heart breaks for what she had to deal with at the hands of her father. I will have to have a CPS case open against me and her father for his neglect. I'm going to cooperate with them so it helps me gain as much physical and legal custody over her. I don't feel confident that when we divorce and he is granted some type of custody, this won't happen again. Since I called out of both of my weekend shifts and Monday shift to go to social services, best believe I am applying for everything. SNAP, WIC, TANF, medical insurance, etc. I don't think I will have a job at Cracker Barrel much longer, but I literally took that job just to have a job. A couple people messaged me with remote jobs that I might be able to get with my degree. Once we're settled in the shelter, I'm also hoping they will be able to help me find a decent job, hire an attorney that won't cost $5,000 for me to divorce my husband, and help me set up child support payments. He can fuck all the way off into the sunset for all I care, but I didn't knock myself up by myself. So many of you were kind, offering me places to crash and support. I am so thankful and cried a lot. A lot of you have been in my situation and gave me words of hope when I was feeling really down and dumb over my choices. I have a hotel room for the next 2 nights thanks to awesome people in this sub. We are going to the shelter on Monday where we can start rebuilding pieces of our lives, and honestly, I wouldn't shed a tear if my soon-to-be ex decides to just give up his parental rights. I've practically been a single parent for the past 9 weeks, what's another 18 years of doing it by myself? I literally left with the clothes on my back and a bag for us both to share, so the thought of just starting from scratch is terrifying, but I know it's what I have to do. I know a lot of people were worried about us and our safety, but we are safe. We are okay, for the most part. I still go back and forth from sadness to rage to feeling down and being angry at my 17-year-old self for thinking an older man would take care of me, and it turned out to be a bunch of lies. I have blocked my mill and soon-to-be ex, and I'm genuinely thinking of changing my phone number to cut off all communication with them both unless I'm ordered to by a court or something. I just want to wash my hands clean of him and pretend he doesn't exist. I can never trust him, or his mom really, again with my daughter. As someone who didn't grow up with a father and it made my mom hate me because I looked like him, I have a very clear memory of her throwing a pot of water at me because I made a face that looked like my dad's. Part of me hurts for my daughter because I sure picked a shitty sperm donor for her, but she deserves so much better than him. I will post again on Monday for everyone once we are safe in the shelter. Update 2. To make a very long story short, I am 23, he is 28. We officially started dating when I was 18 and he was 23. He groomed me, manipulated me, and has shown himself to be a horrible, neglectful and abusive person. I had to leave him and take our 9-week-old daughter to the emergency room because while I was working, while he's on paid parental leave, he left our daughter in a soiled diaper, no change of clothes, and didn't feed her. I ended up taking her to the emergency room where I found out she has a rash. She was dehydrated and had to have an 4 put in. He couldn't connect with her and said her crying was grating on his nerves and pushed me to go back to work so we could save on daycare. A CPS case will be opened against us both because the emergency room doctor is a mandated reporter. I'm terrified of her being taken away from me because I thought I could trust him to watch the child he helped decreate. He tried to pressure me into having sex before my 6-week checkup / before I was ready. He got mad when I had an IUD placed at my 6-week appointment because I wanted something more permanent for birth control because of his refusal to wear condoms. I'm terrified of the consequences of his actions even though I'm the one who left. I'm the one going to a women's shelter on Monday. I'm going to ask about legal aid to get the divorce process rolling. I'm terrified of him ending up with some sort of physical custody, and he abuses / neglects her on his time. I called out of my weekend shifts and my shift on Monday, and I'm pretty sure I won't have a job to go back to, but I don't care. My daughter is more important. She is such a smiley, happy, drooly little girl with big blue eyes and the cutest little dot nose, and I'm so angry and frustrated and sad for her that her father turned out to be this way. I'm terrified that I won't be able to divorce him and be free of him. I'm scared to start from scratch. I left with the clothes on my back and our important paperwork and more stuff for baby girl than myself. I haven't showered in over 24 hours and I think I slept maybe 4 hours last night. I keep looking at my sweet baby. The anxiety in the pit of my stomach is killing me. We are going to the shelter on Monday where we can start rebuilding pieces of our lives, and honestly, I wouldn't shed a tear if my soon-to-be ex decides to just give up his parental rights. I've practically been a single parent for the past 9 weeks, what's another 18 years of doing it by myself? I literally left with the clothes on my back and a bag for us both to share, so the thought of just starting from scratch is terrifying, but I know it's what I have to do. His own mother tried to defend him, saying he didn't know any better and it was his first time being a parent, but I'm not the one who left my newborn in a shitty, piss-soaked diaper and let her be filthy and hungry and cry until she was red in the face from needing someone. I don't know if I can ever forgive myself for what she had to go through because I was pressured into going back to work to pay my share of the bills at the adamance of her father. I just want to wash my hands clean of him and pretend he doesn't exist. I can never trust him, or his mom really, again with my daughter. As someone who didn't grow up with a father and it made my mom hate me because I looked like him, I have a very clear memory of her throwing a pot of water at me because I made a face that looked like my dad's. Part of me hurts for my daughter because I sure picked a shitty sperm donor for her, but she deserves so much better than him. As someone in a similar situation, and I wish while I was with my ex had gotten CPS involved. 2 years later we did have an investigation, but at this point I can only say what I saw 2 years ago. Now that CPS is involved, they are going to want OP to file an ex-parte order so that she can show her protective capacity. Please OP file that with all the endangerment you have witnessed. Update 3. Hi guys, me again. Not a very exciting update, but one all the same. We are in the shelter now. It has been a whirlwind day. One of the shelter workers had to meet us at the hotel and inspect my car to make sure there was no tracking device. I had to show that my location is turned off on my phone. I had to go over the shelter's rules and sign a form saying I wouldn't break them. Curfew is at 9 p.m., no exceptions. I asked about my job and how the restaurant is open until 10 p.m. and what if I get scheduled to work that late? The shelter worker said it didn't matter. Break curfew, that's 1 strike. 3 strikes and you have to leave. I can't share the address with anyone, can't have any packages addressed to me, so for those who wanted me to make an Amazon wish list, I can't do that right now. I have to provide/cook 2 meals per month for all the residents of the shelter. All of the other residents have to do the same. No eating in the room I am assigned to. I have to be okay with sharing my room if more residents are brought in. The shelter will provide things like toilet paper, pads, tampons, but if I want special stuff like my own body wash or shampoo or laundry detergent, I have to purchase that on my own. The room that I'm assigned to is definitely meant for a bigger family because I'll be sleeping on the bottom of a bunk bed and there's barely enough space to fit the pack and play they're letting me use for my daughter. When we got to the shelter, they had me fill out the application for WIC, SNAP, TANF, Medicaid for both myself and my daughter. They gave me a list of HUD apartments to start calling and applying for low-income housing. I was also given a list of lawyers to contact to start the divorce and custody arrangement. My soon-to-be ex-husband has not tried contacting me once. No phone calls, no texts, no voicemails, nothing. But his mom, my mill, has gone off the deep end. I made the mistake of opening up my texts from her and seeing all of the vile, nasty stuff she was sending my way. She said shit that made my stomach turn and I showed the shelter worker who was helping me complete these applications and her response was, "You've got a long fight ahead of you." My ex-mill made it clear she is going to do everything in her power to win this situation, and I guess my soon-to-be ex just lied to her and told her I up and left with the baby and just abandoned him or some shit. I'm scared about this because my ex's parents have money and I am pretty sure they will use it against me to hurt me and keep my daughter from me. I don't know if my ex is going to just let his mom take over and do everything for him, but I have this pit of anxiety in my stomach that it's going to be ugly and they aren't going to let go without a fight. My ex-mill is the type to think her son can do no wrong. I have kept all of the paperwork I was given at the emergency room on Friday night, along with my daughter's discharge papers, and I've made an appointment with her pediatrician for this Friday. I've also reached out to get a police escort to go back to the apartment I was sharing with my ex to get my things, if he hasn't trashed them or destroyed my stuff. The shelter was kind enough to let me use their pack and play for my daughter, but she needs clean bottles and passes, and I have boxes of diapers and wipes we will need and cans of formula that I can't let go to waste. I need my own clothes. I used the hotel soap bars to wash my hair in the hotel and it has left my hair feeling greasy and I feel so grimy. I've been wearing the same clothes since Friday and I asked the shelter worker if they could spare any clothing for me. I wear a size M, but all they had was XL underwear, so every 3 steps I'm having to hike up my underwear. I left behind my own special blanket from childhood and a teddy bear that I passed down to my daughter. There are some sentimental things I would love to have back, but I don't know if my ex would be spiteful enough to just trash them to get back at me. The shelter also works with a daycare that will take my daughter for me to go back to work. I'm nervous about leaving her alone, but I know I need to work. I know I will have a CPS case open against me for taking my daughter to the ER on Friday night, but I don't know when I'll actually hear from them. I'm still going to cooperate to give myself the best chances of getting full custody if I can. I know CPS gets a bad rap, but I didn't have any control over the case being opened when the ER doctor is a mandated reporter. Please stay out of my inbox telling me I'm a piece of shit for getting CPS involved when I wasn't given a choice. The good thing is, my ex has no access to my bank account. My car is in my name and he can't take it away from me. My phone and phone bill are in my name, so no account shared with him. I'm exhausted from barely sleeping all weekend, and literally cried over eating a McDonald's cheeseburger earlier because I've been so stressed and concentrated on my daughter I haven't ate much, but I'm really hoping I hear something back soon for assistance and can hopefully get into a low-income apartment so we aren't in the shelter forever. I'm still scared of what's to come for our future just because I don't know what to expect next. I just want to wash my hands clean of my ex and raise my daughter in a safe environment. I'm about to put baby girl down for a nap and take a nap myself if I can. I know it's not much of an update, but I will update everyone again once the wheels start moving. I feel like I've lived 4 lifetimes since Friday edit. First lawyer I called that the shelter provided me with their number does not work pro bono and wanted a retainer of $3,500. So that's a no-go. Trying not to feel down about it when I have a list of others to call as well. I am going to get a P.O. box set up as well so I can have my mail. Working on getting a police escort back to the apartment so I can get some of our stuff and not use what little resources the shelter has. Here's hoping my stuff is okay and not demolished.